Okay, so you guys were reading the Michigan voter turnout, and you were taking this assignment of kind of creating a visual representation of what was happening in the graph, and then connecting it to what was happening in the text, right? And then you wrote for the third part, you were talking about like how that kind of gives you more knowledge in general about voter turnout. So, did you guys analyze this graph, or it was the other one that y'all looked at? So you copied off the information like when you guys used the computer tool where you could hover over each county. Is that where you got those numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, where was your actual? Then you kind of graphed it out. Where's the part where you wrote about this graph and kind of wrote about like what was happening in the text? Have you done that part? Okay, so right here you were saying the first graph. So what I want you guys to do now is you're gonna get a big piece of paper and you're going to follow the directions for this. So basically you look at the graph, you're gonna check the key. So basically like where's the key on the graph? Everyone look at the graph. Not that graph, the first one. Okay, so where's the key on this? What's the key? Like, what are the things that you have to look at for this graph? This part? It's right in the metro area. I think that part might be more of like the main text, like what's happening in the text. So if you're looking at this graph, Michigan voter turnout for gubernatorial elections, voter turnout is shown as a percentage of registered voters. And then you look here at these numbers and here. This is what you're going to be analyzing to figure out like what's happening in like the key basically for this graph. And that's going to tell you like what that graph is analyzing and what it's demonstrating like visually. So in this first part, it says to check the key, and then it says to explain what you see in the graph. So you're going to create like the poster on one part, and I'll show you a picture of what it looks like. You're going to create like what's actually happening in the graph. Just tell me what's happening in this graph. Summarize it in your own words. And then the next box you're going to talk about how does it connect with what you've read in the text. So you write a second little box about that. And then the third box you're going to explain how what you saw in the graph, what you read in the text, and what you already knew about voter turnout, how that's all connected. Okay? So let me get you a piece of paper and I'll show you a picture of what it will look like when you're done, okay? Right here I have printed out the directions plus a picture of what the graph looks like. Okay, so basically you're going to look at this, and this shows you what this chart's going to look like. Okay, guys? Jacqueline? So you're going to look at this chart and you're going to explain, you're going to do it in that format. You know, just write, this is supposed to teach you what you're supposed to do. Next time you come across a graph in a text, instead of just being like, oh, I wonder what it says, like first in your mind, like you look at it. And so right here you're going to write down what's happening in the graph. You can cut out like what you've drawn and you can paste it on that big piece of paper I've given you. Then the second box where it says think, you're going to show how it's connected to the information that you read in the like body of the text. And then this third one, you're going to explain like what you see, like now that you know what you already knew, connect it to what you have learned now in your article. Okay, so I'll come back and look at that, but just do it on this big piece of paper. I know that you guys have drawn out visual representations of your graph, so you can kind of paste it on here and then like write what's happening in the graph. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, I'll come back around and watch you guys in action in a minute. But I see that you already kind of, when you're reading it, you were annotating on these little sticky notes. So you already said like the first graph is showing Michigan voter turnout as a percentage of registered voters. So is this your summary of what's happening in the graph?
Yeah.
So it says this section in this year, the voter turnout is the highest in nearly 50 years for midterm elections in Michigan. Okay, so you basically are gonna take a lot of that, maybe give a little more detail, like it was really high back during the 60s, I guess, and then it dipped, so maybe explain like it shows how it kind of progresses throughout the last 50 years. Okay? That's good though. You guys have most of the work done already, just now you gotta transfer it to the poster and kind of add a little more like detail to it. Did you guys learn anything from the graph and from the article?
Yeah, but like the voter turnout and how it is in Michigan.
How do you think that, like, why does that matter that we're reading about this in relation to your overall project? Because y'all's project is on voter, like, why do people not vote? So how do you think, think about today, I'll come back and ask you the question later. Think about how is this information that you guys read and studied in this article, why would this help you understand better how to approach your project? Like, why is this connected in general to the question that you guys came up with? Y'all have your research question, right? Have you written out what your research question is for your voter turnout project? Probably on a different sheet. So I'll come back and I'll look, okay?